Hello and welcome to my little bookish corner of the internet. My name's Harriet. Today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review for Frankenstein by Shelley. This was actually the last book that I read in October and I ended up finishing on Halloween, which is really cool. So glad I read it around that time of year. Obviously I'm sure most of you know the story of this classic book, but we are following a scientist named Victor Frankenstein. And he becomes obsessed with the idea of reanimating a corpse and creating life or recreating life. And we're following his journey into this side of science, into this dark, untrod path, and what happens while he's going through this journey and what happens when he does manage to reanimate a corpse. This book is also surprisingly told from the point of view of Frankenstein's monster, who is the being that Frankenstein brings back to life. I didn't actually know that was part of the book before I read it, so I found this very interesting. It was really nice to see into the monster's mind. I'm doing this when I say monster because I was actually shocked at how eloquent and how beautiful the mind of this being was. I wasn't expecting the book to take that side to this character. I thought that it would just be very violent and very gruesome and dark, but the being actually has some really incredible views on life, really wonderful ways at looking at humanity and humankind, which, as I say, I really wasn't expecting, so I was really glad that that was in this book. But we do also get to see into the mind of Frankenstein, who is a scientist as well, and how his point of view on the matter changes as the book goes on. I can't say much more about the story without ruining it, but I really enjoyed this one. I definitely understand why it is a classic. I will say that at some points it did feel like a little bit of a drag, so the storyline itself is actually quite slow. I would say this is definitely more of a look at the characters themselves and at humanity as a whole, how we see life and how we see death. And I think there are some really important topics and conversations that I had within this book that are hidden behind the main story that we all already know very well and that have been made into many adaptations, films, TV shows, spin-off books. But as I say, that does mean that it's a little bit slower than perhaps what I was anticipating. I wouldn't say this is an action-packed novel, but it's definitely a lot more graphic than what I thought it would be. And I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I figured I would probably like it, but it's not my usual kind of book, so I wasn't sure how I was going to get on with it. But I really enjoyed it. It ended up being a 4-star rating from me. I would definitely recommend this for people that want to read more classics, that want to read some horror, but don't want to read anything that's too gory or too suspenseful, and people that just like nice character studies as well. It's quite a short book, so it didn't take very long to read, even though the edition I have has the tiniest writing I've ever seen. But yeah, overall a really enjoyable experience, and I would definitely recommend picking it up if you get the chance to. I can imagine this would make a really lovely audiobook to listen to. I did read a physical copy, so I'm uncertain if there are any good ones out there, but maybe in the future I will be listening to it. Please do let me know down below what you think to this classic horror. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!